Hi friends, welcome to another Reddit Rev episode. Please subscribe and hit that like button if you're enjoying the content, and please share it with your friends if you can. I'd really appreciate it. Also, please leave me a comment to let me know what you think of the episode. Now let's get started with today's stories.
Hey Reddit Rev family, I've got a great story for you tonight, so here goes. Update: Love Gone Wrong, how my ex's fantasy ended our relationship. During our high school years, we were inseparable best friends, providing an outlet for each other's stresses and anxieties. We chose different colleges to attend, but once I transferred to hers, a new chapter of our relationship began, one that would take us from platonic companionship to something more meaningful. For the past 3 years, we have had an incredible journey together. We go out on dates regularly and take trips to explore new places. Also, I'm always there for her, and she's been a great support system for me during our time as partners. She has voiced her desire to tie the knot soon, but I asked her if we could wait until after she completes grad school next year, since I dropped out of college but have secured myself a steady job that covers all our expenses, even though she contributes when it comes to groceries or meals or in case of an emergency. Working long hours, I'm often away for days at a time, but even when apart, we make sure to keep in touch through texts and calls. When I'm not there, she likes going out with her friends from time to time. No worries though, since she's proven trustworthy throughout our relationship. Plus, as if there weren't enough of an endorsement, my partner hates cheaters, both real-life ones and those on movies or TV shows. Needless to say, cheating is something she actively shuns from her social circle, which gives me great peace of mind. Last Friday night, I kissed and said, "I love you," to my significant other as she was getting ready for a night out with her friends. Although it already felt like something wasn't quite right, around 3 a.m., I sent her a loving text just to make sure that everything was okay. When morning came, there still hadn't been any response, which is normal behavior for us. However, when I got off work at 11 a.m. and arrived home an hour later, it became very clear the reason why my intuition had put me on edge earlier in the evening. As I was pulling in, she pulled in right behind me. When she got out, she was wearing the same clothes as the night before and looked a mess. She timidly kissed me on the cheek and we walked inside. As soon as I closed the door, she broke down in tears and just held onto my legs for dear life. She said her friends had met a guy at a bar who had started buying them shots. He was touching her shoulders and paying mainly attention to her, or so she said. Upon hearing that she had received my text, her companion snagged her phone and urged her to disregard it so they could have fun. This infuriated me beyond belief, yet I chose not to react, instead silently listened as she relayed details about them making out and him driving away with her car until later when they were engaged in intercourse. Unmoving for what felt like an eternity, I finally started packing my belongings together before readying myself for a shower. During that moment, all of the emotions completely drained from my body, leaving me feeling absolutely nothing towards this person who just 15 minutes prior seemed untouchable within my heart. Fear and panic flooded my mind as I went through my normal home routine, not giving a second thought to it. She trailed after me like an eager puppy, hesitantly inquiring if I was ever even going to acknowledge what had occurred. With curiosity in her eyes, she asked whether or not I cared about the incident. "Why would it matter to me what you do?" was all that was left to my mouth before turning away from her stunned expression. "As a single woman, you can choose to do whatever makes you happy," I said calmly. She burst into tears and wailed. However, this did not affect my resolve. I firmly declared that after taking a shower, she must be gone when I returned. Despite her pleas for me to stay and talk it out with her, I was determined to go through with my plan. When I emerged, she was already gone. On Saturday, her mother contacted me to apologize for the episode. Her daughter had informed her of everything that happened and then hung up on her. My ex-girlfriend then called my number more than 20 times throughout the day, but unfortunately, I couldn't bring myself to answer it yet, despite believing that I had put an end to our relationship immediately and decisively. Yet here we are today, me with nothing except thoughts of her preoccupying my mind, missing what we shared together and wishing for its return. I dialed her number and listened to her cry as we shared a moment that evoked both joy and sorrow. Despite knowing it was probably not the best decision, my heart yearned for reconciliation with her again, yet I couldn't bring myself to do it due to feeling so broken by our separation. With every thought of forgiving her, darkness crept in. However, this quickly switched back into love when thoughts shifted towards reuniting once more. This emotional roller coaster has left me floundering for answers. Shall I try speaking with her about rekindling things, or should I endlessly dwell on the fact she is someone who despises cheaters and yet cheated? Regardless of what happens from here on out, at least one thing is certain. Confusion will continue clouding my judgment until an answer is found. TLDR. After my 4-year relationship with my girlfriend abruptly ended because she cheated on me with a complete stranger, I thought that I had mentally moved on, but 2 days later, the pain of it all struck me hard and left me terribly heartbroken. Update. Wow, the support I've received has been astounding. It's been a tiring night of work, but trust me when I tell you that all your comments will be read by morning. My phone was flooded with 224 texts from family and friends alike, worrying about something possibly wrong due to my erratic work hours. But don't worry, everything is in perfect order here. Your feedback and encouragement means more than you can imagine. Thank you so much for it all. Update. Thank you so much for your thoughtful comments and advice. It was a long, sleepless Tuesday night as I mulled over the replies before finally drafting my text messages. Furthermore, the only sensible messages I received were from my family. Around 5 of them came in, and the rest all originated from Jay, my ex, her friends/sorority sisters, as well as her mom. My manager sent a couple of texts to check out if I was at work, while AT&T notified me that I had exceeded my data plan limit. Nevertheless, these numerous notifications are primarily derived from one source, Jay. Moving on to the texts, Jay's best friend H was largely responsible for keeping me updated. She sent multiple photographs of their evening out, including images of him drinking alcohol with a mysterious guy in tow, along with shots of Jay and him dancing together plus making out. According to H's telling, however, she was the only one attempting to stop Jay from leaving with this individual, and she refused the drink/shots he had provided her. H stated that she did not intervene with Jay's interactions until they were moving in a manner that was not appropriate. Furthermore, each time H attempted to remove her from the man's side, he would grab hold of Jay and tell H that everything between them was fine. It seemed as if the man had no intention of allowing Jay to leave his presence. When H sent me a photo of them making out outdoors of her just 5 feet away, I was unconvinced. Why didn't she escort Jay home instead of indulging in capturing their moment? This narrative will soon become pertinent. Her other friends who were present apologized for not intervening and keeping her within their view. Most of them declared they no longer wanted to be associated with her or provide support, while additionally recognizing that I was an admirable individual undeserving of such mistreatment. Following a period of radio silence, her mother also started sending texts expressing remorse and inquiring about my ability to cope. When her mother said, "I can't believe my own daughter would do something like this to a man both of us absolutely adore," it really struck me. I understood that she deserved better than the person I thought I knew so well, and then amazingly she asked if I was alright and if any darkness had entered my mind. Her compassion astounded me. Today when we spoke on the phone, not only did she wish me well all the best, but offered help with retrieving Jay's belongings, even though they lived far away. Though this may not be what some of you expected to hear, I felt that it was necessary for me to gain closure. Jay had sent a flurry of texts, voicemails, and tweets, each one apologetic and desperate. In turn, I texted her asking if she'd come by my home so we could talk in person. She never replied, but about 20 minutes later, there came a knock on the door. Suddenly, it was H. She wanted to get into what had happened. Before I could even open my mouth, she was attacking me, accusing me of not being loyal to Jay and telling me things like, "If you loved her as much as you used to, this wouldn't have happened, and this is just a rough patch in a long relationship. Can't you get over it?" This girl who thought that by sending texts she'd prevent the destruction of our bond now heavily reprimanded me for not forgiving Jay. Confused, I questioned where did all this come from. She seemed to be defending me the night this all happened. All I said was Jay had been staying with her since I kicked her out, and Jay told H she was missing something in her life and that our relationship was holding that back. H said she didn't hate me, but she wanted to know what I had done to change her friend's behavior to become unfaithful. H expressed her dislike for Jay's behavior, and when asked how she was able to snap a photo of them together while being seemingly unable to stop it from happening, H claimed she wanted me to have evidence, and that action had been taken following the acquisition of said proof. This left me perplexed. I wasn't sure if I could trust her or not. However, I thanked her nonetheless before promising to be in contact soon. At 6 p.m., Jay sent a text letting me know she was on her way over. When she arrived, tears trickled down her face, and I said sternly, "No more crying, Jay." After we settled down, I asked for an honest conversation. No worrying about my emotions or our relationship, nor apologizing. Just tell me what happened and why it unfolded the way it did that night. Not what you think I want to hear, but rather your thought process throughout the evening. She confided that being intoxicated had made her overly susceptible to her innermost desires. She found the guy particularly appealing, especially due to her preferential treatment of her compared to other friends. Initially, she was not planning on anything happening with him, but as he became more physical with her, she felt herself slipping away from any sense of control. Entranced in the moment and oblivious to her surroundings, she was wholly consumed by the allure of being the center of attention. Not a single thought crossed her mind of our relationship, friends, or anyone else present at the bar. When he asked if she needed someone to take control of her car and somewhere to stay for the night, it came to no surprise that each question received a definite yes from his dizzy soul stuck in an intoxicated trance. At that moment, a new wave of tears streamed down her face. She admitted she had been with him and drove restlessly for hours before coming home. Although she initially planned to keep it from me, when our eyes met in the driveway, all hope for secrecy vanished. This was going to be her last romantic dream away from reality, but ultimately she was unable to hide anything anymore. I heard every last detail. When I questioned her regarding what she disliked about our relationship, she insisted on nothing. She cherished everything we had and me as well. Although she never wanted to hurt or forsake me, the idea of college flings lingered in her mind before settling for us eventually. We initiated our dating sophomore year and are still going strong. Sadly though, my beloved has missed out on a classic university experience, one filled with wrongdoings but also that of meeting new people who make them their priority for just one night. She shared that despite her feelings for me, the combination of this man and alcohol had led her to fantasize of what it could be, something she hadn't yet acted on. She queried if I had any remarks, to which I replied in the negative. Subsequently, she inquired whether her vulnerability made me feel better, yet again my response was no. Attempting a hug only for me to spurn it away, my desolation ever present within and around us both. Even then, she pursued as if there were ways of keeping our relationship alive, anything that could prove her remorse over what transpired before. But alas, all doors closed, and I answered with an emphatic no. When I told her that my anger had mostly dissipated and I comprehended where she was coming from, her query if she could ever once again earn back my trust sparked indignation in me. We never had the traditional college life of partying or sleeping around due to our commitment towards one another. Yes, we went out occasionally to celebrate with liquor, but always returned home by nightfall. Despite this, when it came time for a new us to form between us, I felt an immense fury inside myself. I had no idea what she meant when she asked about the new us, but it was obvious that whatever relationship we once shared had been destroyed. To make sure my intentions were clear, I told her that our decision would take some time and most likely mean an indefinite separation from one another. As in a last-ditch effort to get me to change my mind, she attempted to kiss me goodbye before packing up her things for good. But this time, instead of reciprocating, I turned away without saying a word and went into my room alone. I am so grateful that she was honest and open about her own inner turmoil with me. It's a relief to know it wasn't an issue between us, but instead something within herself that she had been struggling with. Love is still very much present in our relationship. If anything, my love for her has grown after hearing her truthfulness. Our relationship has been irrevocably damaged, and I don't think I'll ever be able to trust her again. Though this isn't an absolute certainty, at the moment it seems that our story is done, though my heart still aches for what we had before she chose a fleeting night of fantasy over us. Now though, I can finally feel some semblance of closure in regard to our situation. Nonetheless, as much as it hurts me to say goodbye so soon after we shared together. TLDR, I replied to all my messages and finally had an in-person meeting with my ex. Thanks to her candor, it appears that the relationship has come to a close. I hope you all really enjoyed this story, and please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this content.
I hope you enjoyed our video. It's always a pleasure creating these stories, and if you liked what you saw, please take the time to show your support by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing if you haven't already done so. Sharing with your friends is also greatly appreciated. Let me know in the comments section below what you think of our videos. I'm all ears. Be sure to check back soon for more original Reddit stories every day on Reddit Rev. Until then, stay awesome, my friend.